Hello.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Wulff Den Live, episode 233. Now officially with less cases of COVID-19 than the WWE.
Explain.
They had, every day it's like another worker at the WWE, either a wrestler or an executive or like a Vince McMahon level person has tested positive because they keep
To be
filming
clear,
shows.
if there is one case of COVID-19, it is officially more cases than the Wulff Den.
Yes, and
just to be clear,
like some of the news I've said says that it's been at least 10.
in the WWE,
in the WWE alone.
I mean, there's a lot of hot, sweaty guys rolling around with each other. You know,
Yeah,
there's not a lot of that going on here, so
no. But you would think
it might be easier for them to get it than people like us.
You would think if you petitioned, bribed your local government enough to prove that you're safe enough to reopen during a pandemic, and then your employees keep getting the disease that caused the pandemic.
Well, why would you have to bribe the government if you didn't have any cases? Do you understand?
It's true. It's a valid point.
Anyway, hello guys. How are you all doing? Welcome. Oh, that sounds. Oh, my ears.
What'd you do?
I don't know what happened. I mean, that was a notification, but I don't know what happened. But when I plugged my headphones in, all the volume of everything just went down, and then the notification played, and it was something's up. In the middle of this podcast, Will is gonna be screaming in my ear. Anyway. Hello Parker, hello our Grant, hello Tomatacha, and hello AJ, hello Ashley, Grimhane, Eric, hello everybody.
Hello anyone and everyone who is here today.
And a special hello to Mac Muggle with 525. Hey, cool podcast. Want to know, when did you guys start drinking, if at all? I'm getting self-conscious. What does that mean? Does he mean at what age or at what time?
Please remember that the legal drinking age in the United States of America is 21 years of age.
I started drinking when I was 22.
19, because there's nothing else to do at college.
And I still don't really drink.
Yeah, me neither.
Mecha Dragon 101 with $2. New Crash Bandicoot games, my dudes. I forgot about that. That should be a story.
Should it, though?
You're right. You know what? You're right. Guys, we got to talk about Pokemon today. Yay! But AJ's not here because I figured, why pull him back out again a second time in a row?
Sweet. So
MOBA.
I can be completely ignorant and not have the Pokemon police jump down my throat.
I mean, listen, man, that's why I pulled out the shirt. So that people, when people see my custom Stitch Fix Pokemon shirt, product provided by the Pokémon Company International, they could be like, this guy knows what he's talking about when he's talking about Pokemon.
Now, in our defense, though, this is a brand new game in a brand new play style. So there's a lot of unknowns here. So
unknown. I see what you did, Will. See, that you don't even know how much you know about Pokemon.
I know my Pokemans. So I think it's okay for us to have questions and just be the general big Poke idiots that we normally are, because we're in the same boat as everybody else.
So it's really not a big deal. Here's what happened. The Pokemon Company said, we got a Pokemon Presents on Wednesday. Get yourselves ready. And then the internet went, let's go Johto. We're getting a new Pokemon game. It's going to be Pokemon Let's Go Johto. I can't wait for them to announce Pokemon Let's Go Johto. And that is not at all what happened. Everybody got overly hyped for something that they just took a wild guess at. And instead, we got a Pokemon MOBA. So here it is. It's called Pokémon Unite. I can play a little bit of the trailer. It was an 11-minute long Pokemon Presents. They played the game for like a big chunk of it. They had a bunch of influencers, some Japanese influencers, some American influencers in it. And it looks pretty cool. It's a MOBA. I'm not interested in MOBAs.
I still don't really get MOBAs.
You don't get MOBAs? What do you not get?
I get it, but I don't know. I just like something about them is not clicking with me, because they look too much like real-time strategy games, but like they're not.
They're very similar.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess I've never found like a MOBA that like, I can say like I want to play that all the time, because I know with MOBAs like it's like Fortnite. You play it and that's the only game you play for the rest of your life.
I think we should explain what a MOBA is because we just keep saying it.
Yeah.
Massive online battle arena.
Yes. Games like League of Legends, Dota 2, Smite, those are MOBAs, if you will.
Yes, they're massively popular.
Yes.
If you've never heard of them, that would be strange because there's a lot of really popular MOBAs out there. You might not have known that League of Legends is a MOBA, but it's a MOBA.
Yeah, it's probably like it was the MOBA. Might still be the MOBA. And then there's also like Dota 2, which is like the more hardcore of them. But
and now look at this. We got Pokemon's throwing their hat in the ring with Pokemon Unite. This is an article from The Verge. The latest Pokemon adventure is a real-time, team-based strategy game called Pokemon Unite. See, it's a little bit of a strategy game. Mm-hmm. The game is being developed by Tencent's Timmy Studios, the same studio behind massive free-to-play online games like Honor of Kings, which I've never heard of, and Call of Duty Mobile. Can I look up Honor of Kings?
Call of Duty Mobile, that's the one that came out like a few months ago that everybody like loves, right?
Yeah, it's good. It came out a while ago, but it from what I understand, it's good. So let's break this down in the middle of the article. Tencent is, I think, the biggest gaming company in the world.
It's like the biggest multimedia company in the world, not just video games, but also movies and stuff. They own, or at least partially own, like a lot of companies. They're like a major investor in like Activision, EA, Ubisoft. They own a lot of Epic. I think they're like the majority shareholder of Epic.
Well, according to the Wikipedia, Tencent is the world's largest video game company.
Right.
One of the world's most valuable companies, period. One of the world's largest social media companies. What? And one of the world's largest venture capital firms and investment corporations. So this is what would you call it? Abstergo. This is the what are other fictional big companies that control everything?
For you,
LexCorp,
LexCorp,
Wayne Enterprises.
For you RoboCop fans out there, OCP, who controlled all of Detroit to the point where they just bought Detroit.
That's what Tencent is, a big deal that a lot of people have not heard of because it's Chinese. It's
which is shocking because, like you said, they have their finger in a lot of major American video game companies, but also too, like they've been financing a lot of movies recently because a lot of Hollywood movies want to get released in China, and the easiest way to do that is to have Chinese financing. And Tencent, I think they did the last few Mission Impossible movies.
I wouldn't be surprised.
So
they bankroll a lot of stuff, but they also bring in a whole lot of money. A whole lot of money. They got their hands in a lot of pies. That's the word I want to use. Yes. Anyway, the game looks like a MOBA. Looks like a lot of MOBAs, particularly League of Legends, with teams of 5 battling against each other and leveling up over the course of a match while completing objectives. I can't read this. The multi-lane map is even reminiscent of existing team strategy games. It'll be a free-to-start game on both the Nintendo Switch and mobile with cross-play for multiplayer. That is awesome.
Yeah, that's going to help this game out a lot. If you have a Switch or you don't have a Switch, you have multiple ways to play this game with your friends. Did it say like you can take like your stats and stuff between systems, or is it just the multiplayer that's
so it said cross-play? It did not say cross-progression, which scares me.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that it's going to be one big account system.
Mm-hmm.
But knowing the Pokemon Company, there's got to be something that's like doesn't work right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not gonna make it easy for you. There's gonna be something that's gotta be messed up. But a lot of MOBAs are free to start or free to play. So it's gonna be free. You might have to buy characters or something, but you can try it for yourself for completely free to see if you like it. And you could try it on your phone, you can try it on your Switch, and you could play with people who don't even have a Switch. So that's pretty cool. I think this is a cool idea. Today's new.
I just like to make a correction. Alibaba Pictures, another Chinese company, produced the last few Mission Impossible movies. However, Tencent has produced such American films like Kong Skull Island, Wonder Woman, Venom, Bumblebee, Men in Black International, Terminator Dark Fate, the upcoming Top Gun Maverick. So the other big ass Tom Cruise franchise.
Right.
But those are like big American movies.
Big
American movies. I'm thinking of Nico Bellic's cousin from GTA 4. You keep saying like big American TTs.
I thought you were thinking of like the Clerks cartoon when they outsourced to a Korean studio. Big American party.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Bear's driving. How can that be?
Who's driving? Oh no, Bear's driving. If you've never watched the Clerks cartoon, there's only 6 episodes and it's great.
Yeah, it's probably the best thing Kevin Smith has ever done.
Today's news caps off a busy period for the Pokemon franchise. Last week saw the release of the first major expansion for Pokemon Sword and Shield, along with announcements of Pokemon Snap on the Switch, Pokemon Cafe Mix, which is out right now. I have to download that.
And an AR game to help your kids brush your teeth.
Which I have played.
I didn't get a chance to play it yet.
All right, so I played the AR game to help kids brush their teeth, Pokemon Smile. Listen, I was not brushing my teeth for long enough, dude. You got to sit there forever.
I know. Like 2 minutes is a long time. Dude, 20 seconds to wash your hands is a long ass time.
When you have to think about it,
yeah,
it ends up being longer than because you're not thinking about anything else but how long it's taking.
Yeah. So this has nothing to do with anything, but Apple had the Worldwide Developers Conference.
Yes.
The other day. First off, they should do it like that all the time.
It was really cool.
Yeah. 2, one of the features they showed off for the Apple Watch was it's going to detect when you wash your hands and have an automatic 20-second timer.
Mm-hmm.
As an Apple Watch wearer, I know I'm going to hate that, and I feel like I'm gonna rush through it.
I'm sure you can turn that off.
I'm sure, yeah, but knowing me, I'm gonna leave it on at least for like the first few tries. But I know I'm gonna hate it.
All right, so I tried out Pokemon Smile. Here's some pictures. I chose Squirtle. I don't remember why. I think it's because Ian got it in my head that I wanted to choose Squirtle.
Well, I mean, makes sense. It uses water.
I was just drooling friggin' toothpaste the whole time. And then you get to take a picture of yourself wearing a hat, and I unlocked the Pikachu hat, so here it is. That's it.
That's cute.
And I only did 1 level. That was it. I'm done. It's cool. It's a cool little thing. I also beat the single player of the Pokemon DLC last night. It's all right. If there's a lot to it. There's a lot of new Pokemon, and there's you gotta find these max raid you gotta find these max mushrooms in order to make your Pokemon Gigantamax. You have to find 3 per Pokemon that you want to enable Gigantamaxing on, and it is really hard to find the mushrooms, so I just gave up on that. If you want to just beat the single player, it's $30 for both DLCs, so it's really $15. It's okay. The single player was all right. It's really nothing too special. You could skip it if you just want to do the single player, but if there's other things you want to do, like get all those Pokemon and Gigantamax your Pokemon and some other stuff that I don't know about, it might be worth it for you. But to me, it was just okay. It's kind of more of the same stuff.
Right.
It's not like the story was it's not like it was freaking Hamlet. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to try. Now, I'm not a big MOBA guy. I'm not a big strategy guy. But this is a free game, and it's on the phone and the Switch. So I will try it when it comes out.
I feel like if this is a good game, it might be a good gateway into the wider MOBA genre as a whole. Mm-hmm. I know MOBAs are typically real time. So that would be good for someone like me who hates like, you know, pausing in the middle of the action and like planning things out or just clicking on things until they die. So, you know, I'd be willing to, you know, if it's free, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it looks cool. It looks really well done.
mhm.
I'm trying to find some of the actual gameplay that they showed. They got there's a limited amount of Pokemon. I'm sure they'll keep adding some because
Right.
you'll probably have to buy them. It looks like you might not be able to pick two of the same Pokemon. The Pokemon have certain abilities
Right.
that are are gonna it would help to build out a team of different Pokemon. They
Yeah.
don't have type advantages, so those are meaningless in this game. And that's really it. Otherwise, it's just a MOBA. You have objectives. You have to like take over the other teams like bases, and if you go back to your own base, you gain health. And that's it. Otherwise, it's just a freaking MOBA. It looks pretty much like a copy and paste of League of Legends, just with Pokemon.
Yeah. It
Uh,
is interesting that, you know, Nintendo this week said that they're not really going to focus on mobile games anymore. Like they're pretty much done with them. But Pokemon
yeah.
just keep going.
Well,
Like,
think about like how Nintendo came out with their mobile games. And
right.
they were like, all right, and people like had some problems with it, and they did some weird things like a Super Mario Run was $10 or was
Yeah.
free for like a first level, and then you had to buy the whole thing, and it was $10, which is like a
Yeah.
lot
They
for a
did.
mobile game.
They never really figured out like the sweet spot of it. Like their first mobile app was Mitomo, which wasn't really a game. Then they had Super Mario Run, which was free for like 3 levels, and the rest was $10 because their justification was they wanted to keep the price high to indicate that this was that very valuable game, that there was value to the game. It wasn't just some $2 piece of crap that you can buy uh, and just forget about. They wanted to, you know, make it seem like there was substance to it. And then their next few games were like free to play and they had microtransactions, but like people didn't really like that either.
I get why Nintendo wanted to show that it was like a premium product because that's how they
Mhm.
view their games. They view their
Yeah.
games as like, polished and really well done, not like most mobile game companies do. But the mobile game market is just so different than their traditional video game market,
Yeah.
They,
I
they didn't really conform.
I feel like they got into the mobile games market because like while the Wii U was struggling, and I feel like they just did that to appease investors and like market analysts and critics who were saying like Nintendo is done, they should just do mobile games for the rest of their life.
And
Um
everybody was telling them that they should move games to mobile.
yeah, and
And they
I
tried
feel
to do
like
it in their own Nintendo way, and
yeah,
it didn't
they
really work out too good.
yeah, and then like, you know, 4 or 5 years later the Switch came out and now everyone's like, "Oh man, every game should be put on the Switch. This is the best console ever." So,
uh Tiny Moses in the chat says Fire Emblem Heroes was a really good Nintendo made multiplayer game. I mean mobile game. And that is really good. I played a little bit of that.
but I feel like, you know, that's it. You know, there's that, and then there's like Super Mario Run, which people mostly remember for the $10 price tag.
Somebody in the chat also brought up Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. It was okay.
Yeah, was that really a game though? Like, or was that more of like a companion app to like
No,
other Animal Crossing?
it was more of a game. I wouldn't see it as a companion app.
Okay.
Kind of think like Mitomo.
Okay.
It's kind of similar
Well,
to that.
Mitomo wasn't really a game either.
Yeah. Yeah. um, I just, but the Pokemon Company, knocked it out of the park with Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
I mean, that was Niantic, but still, Niantic was like, look at what we could do, and Pokemon Company's like, all right, let's just do that a bunch
Yeah.
of times. Still, the Pokemon Company is a little bit like Nintendo, where they try to distance themselves a little bit. Like they're never gonna put a full-fledged Pokemon game on the phone.
Right.
I think if they just freaking put Pokemon Red, Blue, or Yellow on the phone, there's no reason not to.
Oh yeah, no, it's gonna.
You can port that right away. It's mostly menus, If they do that, that would sell like freaking. Even if you make it like $8,
Yeah.
that would sell like crazy. but they would never do that for whatever reason. Because the Pokemon games aren't games that require like actual physical buttons. Like Mario, you're gonna need buttons because it requires reaction time. But turn-based games, it's all menus. You know. AJ said something before about how people are pissed that they mostly show Gen 1 Pokemon.
Look,
I mean, they do that for marketing reasons, I feel like.
Yes. Just accept it. You know, if
those
Power
are the
Rangers
popular
fans,
ones.
If Power Rangers fans can accept the fact that every time there's a new Power Rangers thing, it's going to start with the Mighty Morphin era, then Pokemon fans can accept the fact that every time they show a new Pokemon thing, it's going to start with the Gen 1 era. Pokemon and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. There's a crossover I want to say.
Mega Dragon says, "Bad Bob, nobody wants that." Are you talking about putting the original Pokemons on the phone? Make it Fire Red. Who cares? Just put one of the early Pokemon games on the phone. That would sell like crazy. And also, Pokemon Go, when that came out, for over a year, it was the original 150 Pokemon. If you ask Pokemon fans if you would want that, they would all say no. Think about how great that game did. Because it appealed to all the people who don't play video games, who just played Pokemon way back in the day. So yeah, if you release the early games and put it on the friggin' phone, that would sell like crazy. I keep saying that Pokemon should release a Pocket Go type situation, one of these little portable emulators, and just put one Pokemon game on it and sell it for like $40 frickin', and everyone would buy it.
Well, they can't do just one because the whole gimmick of Pokemon is that like there's two versions and you trade back and forth between the two. So they would have to do one system that's just red and one system that's just blue.
True. But still, that would be great.
Right.
But anyway, they're making a lot of money, and they know how to run a business better than I do. You're getting a MOBA. I'm sure it'll be fun, and I'm sure that in the trailer they were showing like a lot of like stadiums and stuff. It looks like they're trying to tackle that League of Legends market. They want to make it like a competitive thing. Well, I guess we'll just see how it goes.
Which is weird because, I don't, not that MOBAs are over, but, the MOBA bubble, if you will, was like 4 years ago. And I feel like it's a little bit late to that in a way,
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like, after Metal Gear Solid and Splinter Cell were like the biggest things. Like there was a stealth game every other week. Now the only like stealth franchises are Metal Gear, Splinter Cell, and maybe the Arkham games. You don't really get a lot of stealth games anymore.
I mean, maybe we are a little bit outside of the world because
maybe
in Korea, MOBAs are there's a MOBA every other second.
This is true.
But that that whole thing boomed before we got it.
Yeah.
So it would have had, maybe it's still booming there. I have no idea. So it looks like they're trying to tackle the competitive scene with this, but people are just disappointed because they got the idea that there was going to be a new Pokemon game this year or something. Like they got the idea that this was going to be a brand new Pokemon game, not a mobile MOBA. So it took people by surprise, but
yeah,
it looks okay.
Yeah, it looks fine. I'm sure it'll be a very good MOBA game for the phone or the Switch, but it is what it is.
They should release a competitive shooter next.
Yeah.
All right, that's that. We're done. I think that's all the Pokemon news we got.
Sweet.
I can take the shirt off
chat, though.
Oh, we do.
Yes.
What do we got? We got Austin Hammonds with $5. Thanks. Mac Muggy with $8.43. I know the new Pokemon game is being... Oh, I get it. I know the new Pokemon game is being developed by Tencent. So to me, it just looks all right.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at...
There might be heavy microtransactions, but it looks like fun. I'm not a MOBA...
The map from like like the whole thing of it. It looks kind of basic because it is just like the 3 lanes.
It legit looks like the League of Legends map that everybody likes.
Yeah. But again, actually playing the game, I'm sure, is different because every Pokemon will play differently. I'm sure there's like strategy involved and things like that. But like on the surface level, it just looks basic.
Yeah. This is the League of Legends map, and this is Pokemon. It's just sideways. But yeah, it's just you got to have the 3 lanes, the middle, top, bottom, so that I don't know. It's how it is. Was that it? No, we got another one. Jamie89 with a toonie. Yo, I heard you don't use your light. Can I have it? You
explain why
these nuts.
You explain why you don't just give your stuff away in your video from this week, showing what's in your bag.
We do giveaways.
Yeah,
not now, but we do them. All right. Where are we now? I don't know where I am anymore. EA Play. Did you watch it?
No, but I caught up with it afterwards.
Should we talk about EA? Should we talk about Mixer? Let's talk about EA.
Yeah, let's do EA and then
we'll talk about industry stuff afterwards because I got a lot to say about Mixer. But we'll talk about EA right now.
Okay.
First things first, let's talk about relative Nintendo stuff. They announced that there was going to be a bunch of games coming out for the Switch, finally, because there's almost 0 EA games on the Switch.
I believe officially they said this year there will be 7, and that includes games that were already announced and were announced during the EA Play.
I could have sworn that they said more, but here's an article from Nintendo Life saying, here are the 7 EA games reportedly coming to Switch in the next year. I hate when they start with an update. I want to read the article first. Original story. It appears EA's CEO, Andrew Wilson, wasn't joking in May when he said the third-party video giant was planning to release multiple games on the Switch. At EA Play Live earlier today, Respawn Entertainment's social media manager, Alex Ackerman, announced the global publisher would be bringing 7 games to the Switch over the next 12 months. Quote, you can expect 7 new games coming to the Switch in the next 12 months, including Burnout Paradise coming tomorrow, which is out now, and Apex Legends later this year, which we will talk about because that is cool. So that's 2 down. All right, let's read the rest of it. Update. Since EA revealed it would bring 7 new games in the Switch over the next 12 months, we've been wondering what exactly is on the way. Burnout Paradise, Apex Legends. VentureBeat's Jeff Grubb has now chimed in with his own list. While many Switch owners would no doubt love to see titles like Titanfall 2, The Sims 4, there's no reason why The Sims shouldn't be on the Switch. And even Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order up and running on the system. Apparently that won't be happening. Way to just twist the knife.
Thanks, buddy.
In reality, none of those games are coming to the Switch, or at least EA doesn't plan to port them to Nintendo's consoles over the next year. As you might have guessed, FIFA 12 and The Lost in Random are part of the 7 games list.
FIFA 21.
Huh? Oh,
FIFA 12. It's 21.
I don't understand. That leaves 3 other titles. According to Jeff and his own source, who is, quote, familiar with the publisher's release slate, they include a remaster of Need for Speed Hot Pursuit by Criterion. So the spiritual successor to Burnout.
Keep going.
The third-person multiplayer, Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville, and an EA Originals title from Velen Studios. So there you have it. These are the 7 EA games reportedly coming to the Switch in the next 12 months. Cool. Yeah. So there's still one that's up in the air. It's whatever Velen Studios is working on.
So Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, the 2010 version by Criterion, is a great-ass game. And it plays more like the older Burnouts, like Burnout 3 and Burnout Revenge, where it's just a single track and you just make your way to the end, wrecking stuff on your way. But what's cool about it, there's 2 things that's cool about it. The first thing is, in addition to playing as standard street racers, you can also play as the cops and go on missions. You can do the same race you just did, but from the different perspective. Also, the multiplayer mode was always running, so like you could see, you know, what your friends did, and then you can try and beat them, and like it'll update, you know, globally, and you can enter your friends' races as like the police and just ruin their day.
That's really cool. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. No, that Hot Pursuit was a great game.
Velen Studios, they made Skylanders.
Okay,
That's but I think Skylanders is dead now. So,
and that's also an Activision.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
So maybe it'll be something like that.
Maybe.
Who knows? Not Toys to Life though. Nobody does Toys to Life.
No,
anymore.
yeah, that's over.
I don't know what Lost in Random is.
That was one of like the indie games they announced.
Oh, it'll probably be on the list.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think, you know, I'm happy EA's bringing stuff to the Switch. I'm not too excited about what they're bringing. Except for Apex Legends, baby.
Yeah, I mean, it's all ports and like older games. Like Need for Speed Hot Pursuit is 10 years old. I mean, it still looks good and still plays good, but it's 10 years old. And Criterion made another Need for Speed game after that, Most Wanted, that was a lot better and a lot closer to Burnout Paradise in terms of, you know, the open world racing game. So it's just, you know, I don't understand why that game is like Hot Pursuit is being ported to the Switch now all of a sudden.
Yeah, I don't know why they chose that one.
Yeah,
of all of the games that they have.
I'm glad it's being, you know, re-released because it's a good game, but it's just it doesn't feel like there's a reason behind it.
But overall, I thought the EA play was good. Nobody else did. I was like happy with what they announced. There was a lot of, you know, filler, but overall I was like, there's some good stuff here. Which I never hear about. I never say that about EA Play. EA Play is always terrible.
I feel like, you know, what they showed was fine. What they talked about was fine. I just feel like EA, you know, because they're EA, they're damned if they do and damned if they don't.
Right.
Nobody will give them a fair shake, and rightfully so. But, you know, something like this, you could tell they were trying, and people are just like, nope, EA, microtransactions, Madden, lulls, bad company.
So I don't see it in the article about the like breakdown, but the first thing that they talked about Apex Legends first. There's a new season, whatever. It's freaking coming to the Switch.
Coming to Switch.
Well, actually, they first announced crossplay because apparently they never had crossplay, which is ridiculous in today's day and age. There should be freaking crossplay and everything. They announced crossplay, and then they said, "Guess what? Boom! It's coming to the Switch this year, later this year. Bam! Coming to the Switch, crossplay. Play with your friends on any console. This is awesome. We're finally getting like a real good battle royale game on the Switch."
Mm-hmm.
This is from The Verge. EA is bringing Apex Legends to the Switch, launching Steam versions of popular titles.
EA's been putting a lot of their old games back on Steam because, like, for years they've just been using their own Origin store.
Oh,
but now they're putting everything back on Steam.
That's a good move.
Slowly but surely. Yeah.
The less Windows stores, the better.
Yeah.
EA announced today that a popular battle royale Apex Legends will be coming to the Nintendo Switch and Steam this fall. The game has only been available on PC via Origin, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4 since it launched in February of 2019. It launched in 2019. Apex Legends developer Respawn said the game would be getting crossplay this fall as well. Apex Legends isn't the only game coming to Steam. The studio announced that 5 more EA games titles, Titanfall 2, The Sims 4, Dead Space 3, and A Way Out, are all playable right this second. Need for Speed Most Wanted is also now on Steam, according to Kotaku. EA first announced that games will be running on Steam, blah, 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 blah. I think that's one of the best things that they announced at EA Play, and it was the first thing that they did. So that is great news. I hope that this wakes up Activision. I really, really, really want... Like, Apex Legends is great. Yeah. I like Warzone way more, and I really, really, really wish that they would put Warzone on the Switch.
One of the great mysteries in life is why there's no Call of Duty game on the Switch. I just don't know if Activision cares, because Activision really isn't like a reactionary company. Like EA is reactionary. If Activision does something, EA has to have an equivalent of it, and we'll get to that later. But I just don't see Activision like being like, oh, Warzone on Switch right now. Suck it, Apex Legends.
I forgot that Fortnite's on the Switch. When I said that it's finally getting a good battle royale.
No, you weren't lying. It's getting a good battle royale. Ayo!
So I
never played Fortnite.
I know that I get that Activision isn't a reactionary company, but I never thought EA would do this. You know, I never thought EA would freaking. EA has not put pretty much anything on the Switch. They put Burnout Paradise. Yay. So them coming out and being like, hey, guess what? Apex Legends is going to the Switch. That's like huge.
Yeah, that's like, you know, it became one of their flagship series like overnight.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what better example that you're going to support this system than putting one of your biggest titles on there?
They put no stock into Apex Legends too when it was coming out.
Yeah.
They didn't care about it at all. And it just
was pretty much
out.
Like something Respawn did, you know, on the side while they were working on Fallen Order.
And then it became massively successful. And then EA was like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah.
Do more of that.
Yeah. Also, Anthem, we have to rush that out the door now.
So I think it would be real dumb of Activision to not put the next Call of Duty on the Switch in some capacity.
Yeah.
Or not, it doesn't have to be the next Call of Duty, but later this year, there's going to be a new Call of Duty. We have Warzone already. They got to update it for the new Call of Duty. And there's got to be something coming to the Switch. The Call of Duty needs to be there in some capacity.
Yeah.
And what better way than to just freaking have Warzone? It's already crossplay. It already runs great. There's little tiny problems here and there. But still, there's no reason why that freaking game can't be on the Switch. And when it comes to the Switch, I'm still going to play it on my freaking Xbox or PS4. But still, it's nice to know that it's there.
Yeah.
But when Apex Legends comes out, I will definitely try it on the Switch. I would much rather Warzone, but I'll take what I can get. But that's the first thing that they announced, basically. There's also, these articles don't, there's never a good.
What are you looking at the NME article or the gamer article?
I'm trying to find one that talks about the A Way Out developers' new game.
Oh, It Takes Two?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So A Way Out is a great game. I love that game.
Right.
It's a great co-op only, multiplayer only game. And that developer is doing another game similar to that called what?
It Takes Two. Which, if you Google, immediately gets the Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen movie from 1995.
Also, there is a game show?
Sure.
You might know the A Way Out developer because it's this guy, and he said the F word a lot during the Game Awards.
Yeah.
The developer is Hazelight. This game looks really cool. I liked A Way Out a lot, so I will give this a shot. He like gives away the end of the game, like during this trailer. But that looks cool. I will give that a shot. I can't really explain much else about it other than it will blow your effing mind away, is what he says. It's hard to explain these types of games.
Yeah.
It's very experimental. It'll be at least interesting. But the bigger deal was that they gave more information on Star Wars Squadrons.
Yes.
Are you excited about this, Will?
I am. It's a little different than what I was expecting when they first teased.
What were you expecting?
Okay, so what they presented makes it look a lot more like X-Wing and TIE Fighter on PC, which was more like simulation based.
I love that game.
I was
when I was like
expecting more,
4.
yeah. I was expecting more like Rogue Squadron or Starfighter, which is a bit more arcadey. Um, but that said, what they presented looks nice. It's all from first person perspective. It's just you in your cockpit, basically.
Yeah, so that's what they said, and that's all the gameplay footage they showed. But some of this footage is third person, but the actual gameplay is first.
Yeah, which is weird that they would like commit to that, which makes me feel like this is going to be like much more simulation heavy.
Yeah.
And then in terms of like, a standard dogfight, which is weird because the Star Wars games that EA has been making have been consciously made to be more casual friendly, not necessarily like hardcore focused.
I loved Rogue Squad. I also like the X-Wing games, but
Yeah.
I loved Rogue Squadron for its arcadiness.
Right.
It's like ridiculous and like awesome, and there's like a lot of like story in the levels of Rogue Squadron and Rogue Leader and all of those games. And it's really cool to play some of the stuff that you see in the movies.
Yeah.
This seems like just they just ripped the dogfights from Battlefront and just made a game out of it.
Kinda. Yeah.
It's $40,
which is weird.
That tells me that it's going to be a smaller game.
Yeah.
It's got a whole campaign though. You create 2 characters, a rebel and a
Imperial,
the bad guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it looks. I love the Rogue Squadron game, so I really want this to be good, and I really want to try it.
Yeah,
and it's coming this year.
Yeah, and it will have multiplayer. It'll be 5-on-5. They made a very big deal that there will be no microtransactions. So you don't have to worry about that anymore.
I feel like there's a big focus on multiplayer.
Yeah,
I have zero interest in playing like a flight simulator or multiplayer game.
I would have more of an interest if I personally knew more people who would be playing it. Like, this is not the type of game that you want to jump in with 5 randos and,
that is true.
fly around. This is definitely a game you want to do with your friends.
That is true. I just hope it's at least a little bit like Rogue Squadron. I really miss those types of games. But I don't have a lot of faith in EA Star Wars right now.
Well, I mean, Jedi Fallen Order was good. Apparently
I have not played that.
It's good. It's not what you're expecting at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's very Souls-like in terms of the way the combat is, and a lot of it just the gameplay. Like, there's one part that basically turns into a Sonic the Hedgehog level.
Is it the sliding?
The sliding.
Yeah, I've seen that with the Lost Woods level music, the Sonic 2 level.
Yeah. There's a lot of that though. Like, there's a shocking amount of that for a Star Wars game.
Well, I'm excited for this. I'm going to play it. I assume that the campaign's going to be very short.
Probably.
For $40, And it unfortunately, no Switch version, which you could have guessed.
Yeah.
But no, this looks good. This is a good idea. I'm excited. I hope it's not just a rip from Battlefront.
I don't think so, because it's EA Motive, who it's like they're a new studio specifically designed to make this game. I know they helped with Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
But that was mostly a dice game.
So. Well, Motive did the single player for Battle.
But was there any?
I can't just say, I have to think. Is it Battlefield or Battlefront?
Yeah. The problem, like, this was bad enough 10 years ago. It's even worse now that the same company makes both games.
Yeah, and they feel the same.
Yeah.
But no, they made Motive made the single player for.
Okay, was there Starship combat in Battlefront?
Yes, in the new one. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I think that they just ripped that from this.
Okay.
They just ripped that and made this, I should say. This takes place after Jedi, like right after Jedi. Yeah. So I like that time period. That's a good time period. Anyway, I'll get it. It looks cool. Is there a date?
Later this year. I don't know if there's an official
Gonna
date.
scroll right to the end here. Launching. Oh, October 2nd.
There you go.
Straight up date. All right, and that was cool. I was cool with that. That was another announcement that I liked. So we already got 2 good announcements, and for EA Play, that's way more than I usually get.
Yeah.
The third was actually, okay, they showed an NBA game that looked really stupid. Oh no, well, that was the PlayStation thing. That was PlayStation.
Yeah,
Never mind.
that was NBA 2K.
I'm sorry.
21. Yeah.
I am sorry.
EA probably showed like FIFA or Madden.
They showed FIFA and Madden, and I could care less about that.
Yeah.
Oh, they showed this game Rocket Arena, which looks not good.
Oh yeah, I saw that. It's whatever.
It looks like a Fortnite, freaking. I don't know. It's all rockets though.
Yeah.
I wasn't into that. But finally, we're getting Skate. It was there one more thing, so they knew how big of a deal this was. There's no footage or anything, not even a name for the game.
It's just like, hey, we're making a new Skate game. Okay, bye.
Yeah, and they purposely did not call it Skate 4.
Yeah.
Everybody wants Skate 4.
Everyone wants Skate 4, or just like a brand new Skate game.
Yeah, so they're calling it a new Skate game.
Yeah. This is what I mean by EA is a reactionary company. Because
Oh, you're saying EA is a reactionary company?
Yes.
You're saying Activision is not, but
Activision
EA
is not.
Okay.
Because if Activision had not released the trailer for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, you know damn well you would have not seen Skate 4, whatever it's going to be, for many more years. I know we're in like this tiny little skating game renaissance right now with Sessions and Skater XL and Skatebird. But like EA could care less about those games. The second we got a new Tony Hawk game, hey, remember Skate? We do. We always like Skate. You didn't like Skate.
Do you think they decided to make a Skate game after that trailer for Tony Hawk 1 and 2? Or do you think that they were already planning on it and then they were like, oh, let's announce it now? Like they rushed an announcement out, or they rushed the process of starting the game because Tony Hawk 1 and 2.
Either way, they rushed this announcement. Mm-hmm. Like, I doubt they're past like the storyboarding phase of this game.
Yeah, it's literally just 2 people talking to each other. That's
all.
We're back. I'm sorry.
What'd you do?
I played the video.
Oh crap.
But it's literally just these 2 guys talking to each other.
In fairness, it is cool we're getting another Skate game, because Skate was always the more sim-based skateboarding game, whereas Tony Hawk was much more arcadey and fast-paced. So it's good to have 2 different skateboarding games on the market. But you know that this was only done because we're getting a new Tony Hawk game, and it's a Tony Hawk game people are super excited for.
Right.
So
I think it's possible that they rushed out this. This had to have been a plan for a while.
Yeah.
But they say in the trailer, you guys made this happen. You guys commented this into existence, I think is the exact quote.
Yeah. No, well, because people have been asking for Skate 4 since Skate 3 came out, which was like, what, 2012 at this point?
And it became a meme.
Yeah.
It was a meme that every time EA is about to announce something, they're like, I hope it's Skate 4.
Yeah. Oh, Skate 3 came out in 2010. So
damn,
10 years
10
ago.
Years.
Yeah.
God damn. Well, I'm going to play it. It looks cool.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't look like anything.
AJ says they effing called it Skate Forever. Cancel the game now. At the end of the trailer, he says Skate Forever.
Okay.
But I don't think that means that's what it's called.
Yeah.
But it could be called that. That would be a dumb name, especially if they put a 4 in it.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, Bad Boys for Life was the 3rd Bad Boys movie. You would think they would save that for the 4th one, but
there's this thing where if there's a lot of hype around a game, like a sequel to a game, they will purposely not call it what everybody thinks is going to be called, just to circumnavigate the hype.
Yeah.
Like Half-Life 3 will never be called Half-Life 3. They will call it Half-Life something else. Skate 4, they will probably call it Forever or something.
They'll probably just call it Skate.
Yeah, or just Skate. That's EA. You know, they're the type of idiots to do something like that. But anyway, cool. I'll play it.
Yeah.
And that's it. You know, so that's 3 or 4 good announcements from EA Play, which is way more than I was expecting. So I thought it was cool. Also, Greg Miller was the host.
Yes.
So it was good. Overall good. I enjoyed it. Let's do some super chats. Where are we?
Anthony C with
Carboni?
$2. Friend of the show, Anthony Carboni. Will you all be playing Ninjala today?
No. Not interested.
When did that come? Did that come out today, or has that been out for a while?
I'm kind of assuming it's coming out today.
Okay.
Ninjala. It reminds me of Splatoon,
and
I just don't care. I'm not that interested in it.
I am playing The Messenger currently, finally.
Oh, how is it?
It's very difficult.
Really?
But the problem is, like, so it's not that the enemies are difficult, it's the platforming, and I know that it's my fault. So
Ninjala came out yesterday.
Okay.
By Gung Hoon Line. That's the publisher. Gung Hoon Line. How far are you in the Messenger? Like, what ability did you just get?
The one where you can throw the rope at the rings and like pull yourself forward. I'm not very far.
The best part about that game is that you slowly get all these abilities that help with the platforming, and then by the end of it, you start chaining them all together really good. So don't stop playing the game.
Yeah.
Like, don't take too many days off from playing it, because I never beat it.
Yeah.
I got really far in it, but I never beat it. And I haven't played it in so long that I basically will not be able to beat it if I go for it again.
And because like I was contemplating like stopping to go and play The Last of Us. I haven't gotten it yet, but I would have gotten it. But I know I'm never gonna have the time ever again in my life to sit down in front of a PlayStation 4 and actually play like a video game. So the fact that The Messenger is on the Switch where I can just pick it up and play it in bursts when necessary is what I need in my life right now.
AJ corrects me and says that the name of the publisher was Gung Ho Online.
Okay.
Not Gung Hoon Line. Anyway, I got Last of Us. I only streamed it on Friday. I'm like 5 hours into it. It is amazing. But I'm only 5 hours into it. I have not played it since then, and I'm upset because I really want to plow through it.
At this point, I really just want to play it just to see why everybody hates it so much.
Now I hear that it gets weird towards the end.
Yeah.
I know at least one reason why people don't like it, and it happens pretty early. And I think that's why most of the like edgelords hate it.
Right.
I don't want to spoil it.
Well, I know like there are multiple characters on the LGBTQ spectrum in the game.
There's that, but I don't think that's the one.
Well, I know there's like an even bigger reason like towards the end of the game. I don't know the specifics of it, but apparently there's like a character motivation that people don't agree with. But
that's what really makes me mad. Because in the first game, that's the whole point of the ending. That's why everybody loves the game, is because there's a character motivation that you don't agree with, but you have to do it anyway. So like when that's in the second game, people are like, oh, the writing sucks. No, what did you sign up for?
So I said something like this is sounding a lot like The Last Jedi, where like you don't agree with one thing, so therefore you immediately destroy everything else about it, even though the rest of it was good.
So here's why it's different to me. Because one, the first game already told you what you should expect. And that stuff is what you should expect. The second reason is I like that stuff in the first Last of Us game because you don't agree with it, but you're playing it and the game forces you to do it. so you hate it even more when you're doing it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then by the very end of the game like you kind of face the consequences. So
Right.
it's like it's something that you can't replicate in any other medium, I think.
Right. And I get that. But at the same time, both The Last Jedi and The Last of Us 2, you're dealing with something that has had a long wait period between like releases, and a fan base that just built this idea of what the sequel should be in their head. And the second the property did the exact opposite, it all went downhill from there.
I also know some reasons why people are mad about something that happens. And they have some reasons because it's like a character thing. They're like, well, the character should be like this. But it's stupid. It's dumb. And I
also feel like, going back to, the fact that there are LGBT characters in the game, I feel, because this is also a theory I have on The Last Jedi, the fact that the game is even slightly progressive in its politics, if you will, just rubs people the wrong way so much that any flaw in the game is reason enough to consider it trash and go on Metacritic and give it a 0.
I completely agree. That I think that was
and they'll never say it's because of the progressive politics.
Yes.
They'll say it's because of the other thing, but they'll keep bringing up the fact that Ellie is gay or that there's a trans character in it.
Yes. Yeah. No, you're completely correct. That it people who don't like that stuff amplify the other stuff and then say that they don't like that stuff. They find another reason to hate on it so that they don't look like, assholes. But anyway, I don't want to talk too much about The Last of Us because I'm only 5 hours into it.
Yeah.
I only know what happens in the beginning that people are mad about. I don't know what happens at the end that people are mad about. But so far, amazing game. Anyway, what?
Cedric.
Yes, with $2. You selling that Pokemon button up? How much? This thing is it's at stitchfix.com, not a sponsor. Very expensive. Very expensive. But it's very nice.
It's like an actual adult shirt.
It's a little big. I wish it was a little slimmer. They actually now have polos, and I think I'm going to get one. And you customize it. Like, I have to, wait, hold on. Product provided by the Pokémon Company. Boop. So I got it customized. This is a little Pikachu pattern. Little Pikachus being all cute. It's got an Eevee pocket. So there's little Eevees. And on the inside collar and on the inside of the, the sleeves, it has a Squirtle pattern. So that's pretty cool. I customized it that way. And I got a dress shirt. You can get a dress shirt. You can get a casual shirt. I decided to get a dress shirt for some reason. I think that's why it's big. Anyway, no, I'm not selling it. Ajatek with 5 ruples. Hi, friend. A new Switch game called Him and Her came out at 50% off. Just 50 cents. It is an excellent game. Him and Her.
Interesting. Because as we all know, you got to be careful with them Switch games that are less than $1.
Yes. 50 cents.
Never heard of it.
This looks very weird. It doesn't even look like a platformer. I don't know, 50 cents. It's on sale. Oh, it was $1. So you know what? It's not on sale for that much. So they're not trying to game the system.
Yeah.
Our good buddy Vanillux.
Hey.
With $5. Great to see you guys. Do you think we'll ever get a Bloodborne port to PC? Keep up the good work. Yes.
Yeah. If Sony really is bringing a lot of their games to PC, I feel like, especially with the PS5 port that we're getting. No. Demon Souls we're getting a PS5 port of. But yeah, I think, give it time. Let Sony see how their other games do on PC before they do something crazy like Bloodborne.
Yeah, I think Sony's seems to have no qualms about putting a lot of their stuff on the PC, or at least eventually. Mm-hmm. They usually wait like at least a year. I think Bloodborne is inevitable coming to PC. Anyway, that's that. What else do we got to talk about? Oh, Mixer.
Oh boy.
Will, tell me everything you know without looking it up.
About Mixer itself?
About what's happening, and if you don't know what's happening, then just do your best.
Well, okay, so I know Mixer is, of course, Microsoft's proprietary streaming platform. It's basically their competitor to Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
It ran for like a few years. It was, like a cult classic, I guess you could say. Not many people used it, but it had like a dedicated following that a lot of people seem to like it. Microsoft started signing a lot of big name Twitch streamers, most specifically Ninja, to stream exclusively on Mixer. And then all of a sudden this year, Microsoft's like, you know what? No more Mixer. just no more. We're going to integrate with Facebook gaming now. So deal with that.
Yes. That's basically what happened. So
Yeah.
I don't know where I should start with this.
Start at the beginning.
You want to start at the very beginning? We'll go in chronological order. Here's what happens. Apparently, Mixer is super racist. Let's get into that.
Okay.
Milan K. Lee. Oh,
as you wrote in the show notes, racist. There's a C in there.
Yeah, Mixer is racist. All right. So, Millie or Milan K. Lee said he wrote a little twit longer. He worked at Mixer for a short period of time. Let's see if I can just pull the good things out. Oh, not the good things. They're not good things.
No.
Basically, he had a very bad experience working at Mixer. Number one, I was told I was one of the only black people at Mixer during my tenure. While at a conference, I was pulled aside and told that the only reason I was hired was because I am street smart. Which is another word for we got you because you are black.
Yeah.
The first thing that popped into my head at the time was affirmative action. I believed I was only hired to meet a diversity goal, blah, blah, blah. Time goes by and we were in an internal meeting discussing projects we wanted to execute. My manager decided to give us an analogy. That analogy was, quote, I'm between a rock and a hard place. What I mean is all the partners are my slaves. I own their content. I control their success on our platform. For me, I am the slave master. I own partners. So that is a manager at Mixer talking about their streamers, the people who are partnered to stream on their platform, like Ninja, like Shroud, and all of the smaller people. Imagine if a YouTube manager or a Twitch manager, well, not Twitch. Twitch gets away with way too much. But imagine if a freaking YouTube manager said that, there would be a lot of hell to pay. So not only is that just completely racist, and then he says he had a talk with that person, and the person like kind of doubled down on it and had their reasons for saying it. But not only is that super racist, think about what that means for the people who are on the platform.
Yeah.
Now you just got told that you're a slave and this person controls your content. If one of our managers ever said that to us, we're gone. We're out of that management circle, or I'm off your platform. That's messed up. We control our content.
Yeah.
None of these other people control the content. So not only is that racist, but it's just super like, I don't want any part of this platform if they're going to treat their friggin' streamers like that. Anyway, I got a hair in my mouth. He posts this on June 21st is when he posts this twit longer.
Yeah.
When did Mixer decide to call it quits? Oh, on June 22nd.
How convenient.
A day later. Mixer wrote on that guy's tweet.
Mixer and Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox.
So Mixer said, our goal is to build a positive, welcoming, and inclusive team and community. They wrote this on June 22nd.
Yeah.
To those sharing your stories, it's unacceptable that we did not provide that for you. We'll be vigilant in addressing this more diligently in the future. Thank you, Milan, and to the entire community.
Phil Spencer also said on June 21st, thank you for coming forward and sharing your experience. If willing, can we connect so I can learn and understand more? Racism will not be tolerated on our team or on our services.
And I should note that they actually had a in-person meeting. I think in person. They had a face-to-face meeting. I don't know if it was through Zoom or in person. I think
Teams.
it was in.
It's Microsoft, so it'd be Teams.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Well, we don't know. I mean, I've had some. Can I say this? I've had some meetings with a certain platform holder that has their own video software, and they did not use it.
Really?
I'll say that.
Okay.
Anyway. Anyway, they said they did all that, and then all of a sudden they're like, guess what? We're not a platform anymore. Everybody out. According to Business Insider, which might not be the best place for this type of information, but we're doing it anyway. Microsoft is shutting down its Twitch competitor and partnering with Facebook going forward, even after spending millions on deals with top streamers like Ninja and Shroud. Microsoft is sunsetting its video game streaming service, Mixer, and transitioning to a partnership with Facebook. As of July 22nd, Mixer sites and apps will redirect users to Facebook Gaming. The company said in a blog post on June 22nd. Like Amazon's Twitch, Facebook Gaming is a video game streaming portal and app rather than a dedicated website. However, Facebook Gaming is built directly into the social media service. I still don't know how to get to Facebook Gaming from Facebook.com.
You know, now that you mention it, neither do I.
I'm going to go real quick. Facebook.com. Okay. It's not on the side. There's a watch. Right. What happens when you click watch?
I think that's like their Facebook video.
Yep. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Your watch list. Smosh, Watch Mojo, IGN, Call of Duty. Let's click Call of Duty. Okay. Nope. It looks... Okay, yeah, no, we're not.
It's facebook.com/gaming.
No, I know. URL. I know.
But from the homepage.
From the homepage, it's forget about it.
Okay, I see it. It looks, you got the home, you got watch, marketplace, groups, and then the very last one in the top row.
So I don't have that at all.
Really?
Yeah, it might have been just because you just went to gaming.
Well,
so let's see. I'm in gaming now. I'm just gonna click on a random thing.
Yeah.
Browse games. So now I'm active on Facebook Gaming. Okay. Now I'm going to Facebook. It is still not there.
Weird. It looks like Tetris blocks connected.
Yeah, it's not part of the list for me. Anyway, where's that article I was reading? Despite Mixer being built into the Xbox One user interface and Microsoft spending tens of millions of dollars on exclusivity deals with major streamers, Mixer has consistently failed to compete with Twitch in viewer numbers. I should also note that so does Facebook. So I'm not sure what's going on here.
Yeah.
Even after paying Tyler Ninja Blevins an estimated $20 to $30 million and an unknown sum to Michael Shroud, not trying that last name, Mixer still struggled to bring in viewership numbers anywhere near that of Twitch. Going forward, Microsoft said all those exclusivity deals are null. Facebook Gaming is welcoming all Mixer partners. A statement from Microsoft sent to Business Insider said, ultimately, it's up to them as they think about the next step for their careers. In the same way, it's up to all Mixer partners. All right. So, for some reason, Microsoft decided Mixer's not worth it. Hey, Facebook, do you want it? And they just kind of gave it to Facebook.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like Facebook bought it. I mean, they must have bought it. But it doesn't sound like they actively were like, we want this.
Bought it. Because Microsoft, not that this is similar, but Xbox Music, it doesn't really exist anymore. Now it's just a portal to Spotify. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like that in a way. But at the same time, that's just, already made music for you to listen to. This is like people making content for it.
So wait, what you're saying? Microsoft Music redirects to Spotify?
Xbox Music redirects
Xbox
to
Music.
Spotify. So like it used to be on the 360, and in the beginning of the Xbox One, you could buy music on Xbox Music like you can on like iTunes or whatever.
Mhm.
And it used to be the same thing on PlayStation. Eventually, both platforms decided they're not making any money off of this, so we'll just partner with Spotify, and you could just link your Spotify account to Xbox Music or PlayStation Music and listen
Right.
to music that way. So it sounds like it's kind of similar to that, where if you want to sign up for streaming your game stuff instantly, if you do it through Xbox, the first choice, really the default choice, is Facebook Gaming.
There's got to be some sort of partnership deal going on, though.
Oh, I'm sure there has to be, yeah.
Because they, if you're a Mixer partner, now you are a Facebook partner.
Yeah.
Which is, so something had to have happened. There had to have been some sort of communication. I mean, that's worth money, It's worth at least a little bit of money.
I'm sure like they saw that like this didn't just happen overnight. I'm sure they saw the numbers, and like sometime like early this year they were looking at someone else to partner with. They probably didn't want to go with Twitch because that's owned by Amazon, who's technically a competitor. So they went with Facebook, who's they're not really competing with directly in the same sense.
Right. Or they could have gone to Twitch, and Twitch was like, who cares? We don't care. We don't want you. Also, a lot of people go to Mixer because they don't want to be on Twitch. So maybe that was just a poor choice for them if they were to go to Twitch. Anyway, now you got... So Mixer spent a lot of money to poach Ninja and Shroud from Twitch and have them exclusively stream to Mixer. We got Slasher here on Twitter who says, sources, Facebook offered an insane offer and almost double for the original Mixer contract of Ninja and Shroud. But Loaded, Ninja, and Shroud said no and forced Mixer to buy them out. So I think it was a 2-year exclusivity deal, but I'm not sure how long it was. It was definitely more than a year.
Yeah.
And it happened, in January?
What? When they bought...
When they switched to Mixer. It was it wasn't long. They haven't been on Mixer long at all. Ninja made 30 million and Shroud made around 10 million. And that's honestly like pretty reasonable.
July of last year is when Ninja moved to
Mixer. So it was a year.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he moved, he got a lot less viewership, but he still got a lot of money. I think he was making like $1 million a month on Twitch, but he's on top of this buyout deal, this 30 million. He also got monthly subscriptions and stuff on Mixer.
Yeah.
So he was still getting that also. And same thing with Shroud. So now he can go back to Twitch if he wants and still keep the money.
Yeah.
So he just friggin' made out like a damn bandit. However, I think there's some bad blood between Twitch and Ninja.
Yeah, no, I think so too.
They, once he left, they pretty much co-opted his twitch.tv/ninja page and made it like freaking just redirect to other streamers.
Yeah.
And then he was mad because somebody was streaming porn and it came up on twitch.tv/ninja. But I think Ninja might go to YouTube.
Probably.
YouTube bought out Courage, who's a 100 Thieves, content creator. And I think this would be a good opportunity for them to buy Ninja. Or, I mean, Ninja might just be like, okay, I'll go to YouTube. I think YouTube's the best competitor to Twitch. I don't think anybody else can compete in those types of numbers. But yeah, now Ninja has the opportunity to go to Twitch if he wants, but I just don't think he will.
Probably not. According to the Wikipedia page for Mixer, Mixer's intellectual property and staff will be integrated to the Microsoft Teams division and incorporated into the product.
What does that even mean?
It means that anybody from the Mixer division of Microsoft is now going to be put into the Microsoft Teams division and work on Microsoft Teams.
What is that? Oh, that's the
That's
video.
not just video, it's also like chatting. It's basically their
It's Google Hangouts.
Google
like.
Meets, yeah.
Okay.
Their Google Meet, but it's more for like business enterprises. Like my day job uses Microsoft Teams.
That's a lot of people to put onto a chat app.
Well, Microsoft is making a killing right like in the Office division, so like Microsoft Word, Excel, Azure, Power BI, Teams, Outlook, that's where Microsoft's making a lot of money. And, they're really building Teams up as the one true, chat client for enterprises. So it makes sense to move everybody over there. It's just, I don't know. Well, I guess because, they have experience with video streaming. So put them on the video chat service.
Right. It's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Maybe they want to make Teams into like a much bigger deal. I don't know.
No, they definitely do.
I should also note that there's a lot of value in having an audience. Like there's a lot more value in having an audience than just having the $30 million payout for somebody like Ninja, because you're missing out on a bunch of brand deals and stuff. It's better to have the eyeballs. And that's why Mixer even though they gave him a lot of money for the overall growth of the brand, I don't know if it was that good of a move.
Yeah.
But he only had to do it for a year. He's getting his payout, and now he can do whatever he wants. So he can go to where the eyeballs are, like YouTube or Twitch.
Yeah.
I doubt he's going to go to Facebook. I think that would be really stupid. Well, actually, it looks like he, according to rumors, he denied it.
Yeah. So, which I probably the best course of action for him.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Wish him the best, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck.
Yeah. And if he ever wants to come on our show,
I hope he goes to YouTube. Twitch is stupid. They got a lot of bad internal problems.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about that.
Apparently there's a reckoning going on over there, but yeah.
Yeah, a lot of pieces of garbage over there.
I'm not.
Go to my Twitter if you want to read more about that.
Right. Well, I'm saying I was reading something where like people are being called out finally over at Twitch. I'm not in that world enough to comment. It's good that garbage is being thrown out.
Yes, it's good. I agree. Anyway, would you like to talk about the Avengers game?
Yes, I would much rather talk about the Avengers game because I am well versed in that.
Good. I don't remember MODOK being in the trailer. There's a second trailer. I didn't see this trailer, I guess.
So it was weird the way they did. So they did like a big gameplay stream, and then they released like a 7-minute gameplay footage, 7 minutes of gameplay footage. Then they did like more comprehensive. I think this was just the stream though, a more comprehensive half-hour overview, and then they did like 2 trailers, one focusing on the single-player story campaign, and the other focusing on their multiplayer campaign. And at the end of the single-player campaign trailer, it was revealed that MODOK is the main villain of the game.
Wow!
So happy because MODOK is the best.
Is he now?
Yes.
Okay.
Just look at him. That's all you got to do.
Crystal Dynamics offered a new look at Marvel's Avengers, the upcoming single-player and cooperative action adventure game, on Wednesday during its War Table live stream. Here's what we learned. MODOK is the big bad. We've seen a few Marvel villains like the Abomination and Taskmaster in gameplay snippets from Marvel's Avengers. Players will also battle hundreds of mechanized soldiers and robots built by AIM, Advanced Idea Mechanics, which deploys its creations under the guise of security after the Avengers disband. At the head of AIM is George Tarleton, better known as MODOK, aka the mechanized organism designed only for killing.
He was originally called MODOK, mechanized organism designed only for computing. And then something went wrong.
Oh, and they switched it to a K.
Yeah.
Wow, that's dumb. So is
great.
George Tarleton like his human alter ego?
Yeah.
I didn't know he had a human alter ego.
He did at one point.
Is this his origin story?
It looks like for this particular universe, it might be.
I thought he was an alien or something.
No. He's a mechanized organism designed only for killing.
Is he from Earth?
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea. Ms. Marvel has an encounter with Tarleton in a new story trailer. You can watch it above, released during the War Table live stream, which apparently kicks off Kamala Khan's journey to reunite the fractured Avengers. More story insight from Thor's hero mission, Once an Avenger. In what appears to be an early mission, they played this 7-minute video, which is what I saw. Thor returns dressed as his alter ego, Donald Blake. It just looks like Thor in a t-shirt.
Yep.
To help the Avengers take on AIM threat and prevent the crash of the helicarrier known as the Chimera. Thor teams up with Hulk, Iron Man, Ms. Marvel, Black Widow as MODOK taunts them. MODOK accuses Thor of being responsible for Captain America's death in the game. Oh, that's right. Captain America's dead. Hero missions in Crystal Dynamics name for story-based single-player missions. Hero missions is Crystal Dynamics name for story. Okay. And will move the story-based campaign forward. This particular hero mission showcases Thor's melee and ranged abilities as well as his ultimate, in which he summons the Bifrost to break through enemy shields. There's also co-op war zones. I did not see this.
Yeah, this is the other trailer they showed. So war zones are repeatable cooperative missions that take place in a wide open spaces and dense interiors where players will take their customizable Avengers out for a spin. Each hero in the Avengers has dozens of unlockable cosmetic outfits, some of which can be earned by completing missions and objectives, and some of which sorry, I literally just lost my spot. Some of which will only be available through an in-game marketplace. Those outfits draw inspiration from classic comic books and the Marvel Cinematic Universe designs. Unlockable powers and gear also draw from various Marvel universes. Black Widow has her Widow's Bite, while Thor can charge up his teammates with his lightning-based powers. So this is a completely separate mode from the single-player campaign. You don't go through the main story of the game in co-op. These are separate missions that you do with your buddy on off hours, basically.
So I heard that people were comparing this to Destiny.
Yeah.
They were saying this is like a Avengers Destiny. And that's interesting. That's an interesting, weird thing to add to the game. I was not expecting a co-op, like, event-based aspect to the game. Also, bearded Hulk. What's up with that?
That's a thing.
Very strange. This whole game looks very strange.
It is weird because it looks like a big ass hodgepodge of a lot of things. It doesn't look like a cheap game. They're throwing money at this thing. There's a lot in like every like piece of footage they release just has more and more stuff to it. But it's like, from what I played at not San Diego. God, I wish. What I played at New York Comic Con last year, played like a linear Souls type game where you have to like carefully dodge out of the way and you have to like, attack enemies through melee combat with some flying things here and there if you're Thor or Iron Man. And that's what like the main game looks like. This showed it to be a little bit more open because at New York Comic Con is much more linear, but this looks like it was more open and you can like go around the whole map if you needed to. And then the multiplayer stuff is completely separate and entirely customizable. And the story looks like dense and, labyrinthian, I guess you could say, with like a lot of twists and turns and stuff. Because like there's a new character every release trailer.
I'm interested in the story. The story looks really cool.
Yeah.
To me, it looks like a movie game. It's not to say that it's characters from the movie, but
Yeah.
it looks like a movie game in the sense that it doesn't look like a good game. Like it looks like there's some things that are like off. Like the voice acting is like misplaced. It's like
So
there's just a lot of weird and it just looks like uninspired, like the enemies just are just enemies.
yeah.
The audio design is just the everything's at an 11 the whole time, so nothing feels impactful
Yeah.
during the whole trailer.
It's weird. I'll be honest. To me, it does look better every time they release something new.
Well, that's good.
So like the EA reveal, the E3 reveal just looked terrible. Just straight up terrible.
Yeah, that
And
was not good.
the behind closed doors gameplay footage I saw didn't look any better. New York Comic Con, they let you play the behind closed doors footage, and it played a lot better than it looked. And even though it looked a lot better than it did at E3, and then this stuff looks even better than that. Like it looks more polished and it looks more, more like an actual video game. But it's still stuck in this weird state of, clearly we're referencing the movies because that's what most people know, but they can't really look like the actors or the character designs from the movies. So it's like a cheap knockoff version
Yeah.
of that. And it sucks that it's like stuck in that like limbo state, because you look at, the Arkham games or Insomniac Spider-Man games, like those found ways to just make their own versions of Batman and Spider-Man, and they look fine.
That's what I think of. I think of Insomniac Spider-Man and
Yeah.
how this is just not. It doesn't feel like it's that at all.
Yeah.
It feels like that's what they should be going for, and instead they're going. It looks like they're going for like just a movie game tie-in, and it doesn't. It feels like something's off.
Yeah, and I hope I'm wrong, because I mean this is a game that should have come out in 2012 when the first Avengers movie came out. But I guess it's glad that we waited all this time. And Crystal Dynamics is a really good developer. Their Tomb Raider games are amazing. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so like I think of Spider-Man and how that's like a big, grandiose, experience. But also the Arkham games, the Batman Arkham games. Yeah. Those are much smaller. Like, I mean, they're still big games, but I mean, it's not like there's like a universal impending doom in those games. It's still just Gotham and Arkham,
And I don't necessarily think that Avengers should be like a big open world game. I think having more level by level structure for the Avengers works better.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say you can't make those levels big and expansive and exploratory. You can, but just the way that Arkham and Spider-Man approached the source material and reinterpreted them through their lens to still be faithful but still be their own unique thing. I think that's what comic book video games going forward should really strive for, instead of this weird half measure where it's our own thing, but hey, remember the movies? It's that too, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, it seems like they're not paving their own. I mean, that's the weirdest thing, is that the story is very unique compared to the movies and any other games that they have. But they didn't really take the opportunity to make a unique style.
Yeah, I also think it doesn't help that the Avengers is pretty much anybody in the Marvel universe, but for the game they're just using the main like 5 members from the movies plus Kamala Khan,
right?
Who I know Marvel wants to start like introducing her more into the mainstream, but use other characters. Use Ant-Man, use Kate Bishop, use Spider-Man if you can.
That I think that there's going to be a Spider-Man tie-in, like like an after credits or like a late game thing, which would be awesome to have that type of expanded universe in video games. But it's a little different. Like like Marvel, the Marvel movies are like a 1 in a million thing. It's like amazing that worked. Having all these different directors make movies and then have them feel like a cohesive experience.
Yeah.
Having all these different game developers make games and having that feel like a cohesive experience, that's going to be way harder.
Yeah. Yeah, because you have Sony making Spider-Man games. You have Square Enix making an Avengers game. And then don't forget, you had Nintendo last year technically make their own Avengers game with Ultimate Alliance. So you have all these different like versions clashing with each other.
And we have Kyle Luang with $2 who says, will sell more than Ultimate Alliance? I'm going to say if it reviews well, no. Mostly because it's on multiple platforms.
He's asking if it will sell more than Ultimate Alliance.
Yes, he's asking us if it will.
Yeah, and you said no.
I'm going to say if it reviews well, no, because Ultimate Alliance was only on the Switch, and this game will be on multiple platforms.
So you don't think Avengers will sell more?
Oh, I do think it will sell more.
Okay.
I think that this game, this Avengers game, will sell more than Ultimate Alliance 3 because that game was only on the Switch and this game is on at least 2 platforms.
I am with you there. I also think that it's possible, even if the game doesn't review well, it will sell more than Ultimate Alliance because it's on multiple platforms and because, just the name brand alone, Marvel's Avengers, like that still has a lot of clout, in this day and age, because like Avengers is the biggest movie franchise in the world right now. Right. If you see a video game version of that, you're going to be curious about it.
Yeah. I know a guy who used to only play movie games because he's like, I just want to be Iron Man. So he would play the Iron Man game and be like, this is okay.
Yeah, it's no way to live.
Anyway, that's all I got to say about Avengers. I'll give it a shot. I hope there's a demo. I'm scared for it. I don't think it looks like it's going to be that great.
I saw something like there's a beta coming to PS4.
That would be cool.
Yeah. And it will be playable on PS5 and Series X, and those who purchase it on PS4 or Xbox One will be able to get the next gen version for free.
Oh. That'll be me.
Which is nice.
Hey, guess what, Will?
Yeah, Bob.
Min Min!
Yay!
Is in Smash Brothers, or it's coming in like a week.
Yeah.
As The Verge says, something to doodle on. So the last character... This is the last character of the Fighter Pass?
No, this is the first character of the new Fighter Pass.
Oh, I don't have it. I don't have the new Fighter Pass, I don't think.
Is there even an... Did they do an official, like, Fighter Pass 2? Or can you just buy Min Min and the rest of the fighters, like, a la carte?
Let's see. Smash Bros. Fighter Pass. The first one in the next Fighter Pass. You got to buy the Fighter Pass.
Okay.
You don't get to just buy Min Min.
Okay.
June 29th. Look forward to Min Min. What day is that? That is next Monday. Why is it a Monday? Two of Nintendo's fighting game series are crossing over. Today, the company announced the latest fighter to join the gigantic cast of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate on the Switch, Min Min from ARMS. So here's the deal. We knew that we were getting an ARMS character.
Yes. We
did not know it was Min Min. Although, it was a very easy guess that it would be Min Min. It was either Springman or Min Min.
I thought it was possible it could be that character who, like, everyone thinks looks like Beyonce.
With the butt?
Yes.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Too sexy, man. They try to pull the sex back on Smash Brothers.
Really? Because Falcon's in there just, like, sexing up the joint.
Director Masahiro Sakurai made the announcement in a video filmed in his home, his very beautiful home, as the entirety of the Smash team is currently working remotely. Sakurai said that Min Min was chosen because ARMS director Kasuke Yabuki said, I want Min Min. That is the quote. He also noted that the character was particularly difficult to integrate into the world of Ultimate, but he believes we were able to create a fighter with an extraordinary fighting style. So he said previously when they announced that it was going to be an ARMS character that it's going to be very difficult to integrate an ARMS character because the arms are very long.
Yeah.
The whole point of ARMS is to have springy arms.
Yep.
To do what's his name? The guy from Street Fighter.
Dhalsim.
Yeah.
Why hasn't there been a Street Fighter DLC for ARMS where you play as Dhalsim?
Because that'd be too smart, Will.
I should work in video games.
This is the first new fighter to join Ultimate since Byleth, star of Fire Emblem Three Houses, and everybody loved when that was announced, was released at the beginning of the year. Other relatively recent additions include Fatal Fury's Terry Bogard and the hero from Dragon Quest 11. Also, gotta give shout out to the rest of them. Banjo-Kazooie, how are you gonna leave that out?
Yeah, probably
and
the
Joker.
announcement.
You idiots.
Yeah.
Along with the character, the latest DLC also adds a new fighting stadium from ARMS, of course, as well as 18 tracks from the game's incredible soundtrack. Wow, that's too much. Additionally, Sakurai revealed 2 new amiibo figures that are in the works. Joker from Persona 5 and Dragon Quest XI's Hero. Both will be available later this year. Yo, an ARMS amiibo with springy arms would be amazing.
Yeah.
ARMS, meanwhile, was one of the most interesting games during the Switch's first year. It's a one-on-one fighter that makes... Yeah, we know what ARMS is. I was not too fond of ARMS. I demoed it at like the Switch event, and I was like, it's okay. I don't need this in my life. Everybody is a big cult following.
Yeah.
People really like ARMS. I wasn't too into it.
Grumpy ass Bob, not into ARMS.
But I love Smash Brothers. And I think this character looks really cool, and I'm definitely going to give her a try. I like Byleth.
She fits in well.
I like Byleth. Byleth is fun to play. I saw some of like the fighter breakdown and like all of her moves and stuff.
Yeah.
But I can never really get an idea of how the character's going to play until I actually play it. Because even Byleth, I was like, I saw all the stuff and I was like, I don't understand how this is gonna like play out and it played out totally different in execution than it did in theory. Now her range is insane, so that's already gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
And apparently she has aerial smash attacks, which is gonna be very strange. But I pretty much only play Captain Falcon, so I don't see myself picking up another character. But I like playing Byleth. It's fun. So every once in a while I might switch to Byleth. I'll give Min Min a try. She looks cool. But again, we'll wait till Monday to actually see if she's really, really cool.
Yeah.
All of the DLC characters have been great. They all play really cool. They all have cool things. Yeah. Except Hero. Screw Hero. He's too random. But a lot of people like Hero. I'm just saying that because I'm an asshole. So next Monday, look out for that. I gotta buy the fighter pass. We got some super chats. We got Hytham G with $10. Min Min is one thing. Are we going to expect spirits becoming fighters in second pass or characters that become plain fighters like the ones in first pass? And my safe bets are Monster Hunter and Travis Touchdown. So what he means is previously people, when people were speculating what DLC we were going to get in Smash Brothers, they automatically discounted characters who were already spirits in the game or assist trophies. They said they're already in the game, like Knuckles. Knuckles is in the game. He's already an assist trophy. He can't be a character.
Yeah.
I think Min Min was a spirit. I think Springman is the assist trophy. I don't think Min Min was an assist trophy. I think that that doesn't mean anything. I think that them being assist trophies doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah.
I think we can forget about that. Travis Touchdown, I don't want him.
I don't know.
I don't need that. Monster Hunter, yes. I think Monster Hunter is a very safe bet. I think that's going to eventually happen.
I feel like they just have to pick a Monster Hunter character that isn't already a spirit or an assist trophy.
No, but I think that it doesn't matter if they're a spirit or an assist trophy. I think it's you might just freaking get them.
Well, I feel like Monster Hunter is a big enough franchise where they can like there's definitely like a character that isn't a a spirit or an assist trophy that they can use.
Well, so in Monster Hunter they're kind of like creator characters.
Yeah.
So, you know, they just pick
But
a random.
you know, at the same time, you know, they can still create like a default Monster Hunter
Yes.
to play as. Where like it's like Hero. You know, the
Yes.
character's name is just Hero. He's a blank slate. So
Yes.
just pick a hero from like Monster Hunter Tri and have that be the Monster Hunter representative.
That's what I think they will do. I think it would be really easy to do Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
John Enquist with $5. You guys are killing me. Fighter Pass 2 has existed for months now. MOBAs are still relevant. We'll make a video about Apocalypse, War, or Young Justice.
I made a video about Young Justice Outsiders back when it first debuted. It was great. I'm currently rewatching it or watching it for the first time, however you want to call it. And it's still great. It's even better than I thought. So yeah, there you go. There's my video on Young Justice and Apocalypse War. I don't like doing videos on the direct-to DVD DC movies unless like it's a big ass one. And to me, Apocalypse War is not big enough or like mainstream enough to talk about. I've heard it's dark AF though, so I'll probably check it out.
Two things. One, we always get there eventually. Calm down, everybody.
Yeah.
And two, Arms is a fighter. We got there with Arms is Fighter Pass 2. Yeah. But it's the first character in Fighter Pass 2. So saying it existed for months, I mean, come on, man, give us a break. Anyway, Mega Dragon 101 with $5. Bros, did you see my super chat about what's the difference between an MMO and a MOBA? Also, did you two used to have physical fights as kids? No, not really.
Yeah, no. We would wrestle, but every kid did that.
He broke my arm once.
I did through wrestling.
He sat on it with his big fat ass.
I jumped off the top rope in my bedroom.
And then our parents didn't believe me that my arm was broken and we didn't go to the hospital for 2 days. And then when we got there, the doctor was like, thought something was up. and then the doctor goes to me and goes, "Who did this to you?" And I go, "He did it." And I pointed right at Will. And then the doctor went to my parents and said, "Well, you guys are off the hook."
Yep.
There is no super chat here for Mecha Dragon.
Yeah. But what is the difference between an MMO and a MOBA?
MMO, massively multiplayer online game. MMO is normally there's a lot of different people in the same what would you call it? Instance of the game.
Yeah.
That's why it's a massively multiplayer online game. You might see like a lot of little name tags above all of the characters. You're in a world with like a lot of other people in it. MOBA is specifically short games, like team versus team.
Yeah.
You're playing a game. In a MOBA, there might be like a hub world where you hang out and buy stuff and talk to each other, and missions that you do.
Yeah, MMOs are usually in like a big open world too.
Yeah.
You know, think of like the popular MMO RPGs like World of Warcraft and the Old Republic and things like that. Those are in big open worlds, whereas MOBAs are just like one map, like one relatively small map.
John Enquist with $2. Apocalypse War is Avengers Endgame for those DVDs.
I'll believe it when I see it.
I think I watched a lot of clips of Apocalypse War.
I've seen like things here and there, and it does look very bleak. But I will check it out.
Somebody in the
it
chat
has piqued my interest.
Somebody in the chat asked what mic I'm using. I'm using the same mic I always use.
Yep, that's sure all the hot podcasters use.
They say there's a low-pitched noise every few minutes. I'm sorry, I have no idea what. I don't have my air conditioner on or anything. I don't know what that could possibly be. I got some audio. I have headphone issues right now, but that shouldn't affect you. Maybe I have a ground issue. I don't know. Anyway, there's one more story.
Yes,
it's a you story. You put this here.
Yes, I did real quick because finally, before you go risk yourself to go see Tenet in theaters, Christopher Nolan would like you to watch Inception in Fortnite.
Why?
Or The Prestige or Batman Begins, depending on where you are. That's the thing about the most popular video game in the world. Unlike most movie theater chains right now, it's open everywhere across the planet. After already previously releasing a new trailer for his upcoming time travel, but not apparently time travel mystery action movie in Epic's Battle Royale, um, Christopher Nolan, famous for being that guy when it comes to discussing how important the theater experience is to the consumption of his movies, is continuing his collaboration with Fortnite. You see what they did there. Oh, because it's movie night and they spell it Nite.
Ugh.
The movie event will begin at 8 p.m. Eastern this Friday, June 26th, with U.S. gamers flying into Fortnite's Party Royale Island and heading over to its big screen to check out a live broadcast of Inception, with a rebroadcast taking place at 11:55 p.m. for those who missed it, presumably because they were busy playing Fortnite's new season where you can play as Jason Momoa as Aquaman.
So this must be Christopher Nolan being upset that people can't go to movie theaters, and then Epic being like, hey, we have an idea. And then he's like, oh, you could do it in a video game. That's cool.
But it's for his older movies. So
Yeah.
it sounds more like a partnership with Warner Brothers than with Christopher Nolan himself.
Yeah, but he had to have had something to do with it.
I'm sure, yeah. He's got a lot of control over his movies. I'm looking forward to seeing Tenet. I like all of Christopher Nolan's movies. I think he's a brilliant filmmaker. I am not that ride or die for him enough where I will risk going to a movie theater at this point to see it, even though he is like, he wanted them to reopen last month to see this stupid thing.
Yeah, they gotta just freaking put it out on
I know
digital services. There's no reason to make people go to a theater.
and I get, like, you know, he's very into the old school theater experience, and there is something to be said about seeing a movie on the big screen. I'm sure Tenet would look great on the big screen, but, you know, sitting in my underwear watching Bloodshot and Birds of Prey was fantastic, and I would do that again in a heartbeat with any movie. So I would have no problem doing that with Tenet. I just think it's funny that the guy who, like, really wants you to go to movie theaters, even if you get a virus from it, a lot of his great works of art are being played in friggin' Fortnite.
Like, so I get it. Like, theaters are the first time you're gonna see the movie.
Yeah.
So that's a good first. It's good to have like a nice first impression. But making a film for theaters feels weird because most people are gonna see it when it's in your house.
Yeah.
Because eventually, because it's only in theaters for a short time.
Yeah. Most of my favorite movies I've seen at home. Like, you know, Star Wars I first saw at home. Back to the Future I first saw at home. Indiana Jones I've never seen in theaters. I've only ever seen it on television.
And Christopher Nolan's so picky about how you see his movies that he wants everybody to risk their lives to go see Tenet. Meanwhile, he's not picky about having you sit in a virtual theater and watch it in Fortnite.
Yeah.
That's very strange.
It's just so, again, I think this is more of a Warner Brothers thing than a Christopher Nolan thing. I'm sure he just, you know, signed on the dotted line saying like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Use it. It's a marketing tool to get people out to go see Tenet in theaters. Probably what he's thinking.
Right.
But, you know, and look, you know, apparently Inception is for the US, and I don't know who's getting Batman Begins and The Prestige, and all three of them are fantastic movies. But I don't think Fortnite is the optimal way to view them when there's like 1,000 other ways to do so.
Anyway, sorry, is this the first time we get to play Fortnite?
No, I could just go downstairs and pop in my Blu-ray of Batman Begins or Inception or The Prestige.
Fortnite's free, so that's pretty cool. You can watch
Inception
for free.
But I could watch Inception for free in my basement by popping the Blu-ray.
That's you bought the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
That's not free.
Actually, no, it was a gift. I got that for Christmas one year.
Excuse me.
There you go.
Anyway, I have an unboxing.
Oh.
But it's going to be very quick. It's already unboxed. Here it is. Okay. Wow. Will, can you guess what this is here?
I can't even see what that is.
I'm going to attempt to show the camera what this is.
Okay.
Oh, it might... kind of says what it is. Yeah, I'll show you the port, and you can see if you can tell me what the port is. Oh, meet.
It's blurry.
I'm working on it. Hold on.
All right.
Oh no! Don't look at that.
Wi-Fi something.
That gives it away.
Is that for? Yeah, is that for like a Wii remote?
Close. I'll give you the front here.
Wi-Fi printer. Oh, it's a Game Boy camera Wi-Fi printer.
Game Boy camera Wi-Fi printer. So it's a little tiny device, little tiny dongle looking thing. So it plugs in where a Game Boy printer would plug in, and it acts like a Game Boy printer.
Interesting.
So you plug it into, this little thing.
Yeah, the link cable port.
And it'll come up on the screen as if it's a printer. And you go and you select that you want to print the picture, and instead it will just wirelessly send it to a computer.
Oh, wow.
The problem with that is that you have to print every single picture. So that is one way to get pictures, like the actual file, off of the Game Boy camera.
Interesting.
My old method was taking a screenshot in the native resolution.
Yeah.
Using a Game Boy Advanced player for the GameCube and a homebrewed software that lets you take a screenshot. And that worked pretty good. Mm-hmm. But this will get the actual file off of it. So there's also another thing that I have coming to me that will let you rip the save file off of the Game Boy camera.
That's interesting.
I'm more excited for that because then you can get all of the pictures at once instead of just doing one picture at a time.
Is it just for the Game Boy camera, or can you use it for other Game Boy games?
The one that rips the save is for other games. It's for any game. But it has a special software specifically for Game Boy camera.
I'm interested if that Game Boy printer thing will work for other games that utilize the Game Boy printer.
Yes,
because some games, so it would work for Perfect Dark or Oracle,
because all it's doing is sending whatever file is going to the printer.
Okay,
it's just sending it to a computer. So if you get, your what do you call the freaking the license or whatever when you beat Pokemon?
Yeah,
when it says you're the Pokemon champion, you can send that to a computer.
Right.
I'm trying to think. Do I want to do that? I wish we had our Pokemon from back in the day. Our original Pokemon cartridges. I don't know what happened with those. Anyway, tweet of the week.
Tweet of the week. Tweet of the week. Tweet of the week.
Here it is. Boop. This is from Matt or Film Flume Vivo, and it says, "Why can't I be enough?" And it's a text message to him and a girl, and it says, "Matt, I'm leaving you for Jason." And then he says, "What the F? Why?" I don't know. He's just cooler and has his stuff together. And he goes, "Babe, I can literally walk on walls." And then she says, "Honestly, I never cared." And then it's him walking on a wall and crying.
That's really funny.
I don't know why I like this so much. Anyway,
I had a tweet of the week that I forgot to put in the chat, in the keep. But have you seen that thing going around on Twitter where they're talking about, there's a scene in The Last of Us 2 where he takes his shirt off?
Yes.
Or a character takes their shirt off, and it's really detail animated, because that is one of the hardest things to do, is to animate clothing like that. And the first tweet says there's a scene in The Last of Us Part 2 where a character just takes their shirt off over their head without clipping. It's probably the most technically impressive thing I've ever seen in the game. And then somebody retweeted and said, "In Sonic the Hedgehog 1 on the Sega Genesis, when you go through the S-shaped tunnel in Green Hill Zone, it makes Sonic go so effing fast that the console can barely keep up with him before he launches out and propels into the air."
There was another one that was
true.
There was another one that was like that.
Yeah.
I think it was just bro, it's a shirt. I think that's what I think that's what the quote tweet said.
I remember watching a video on Uncharted 3 where there's a scene where Nathan Drake takes off his jacket, and it's an hour-long video on how impressive it is that he takes off his jacket.
Well, we often talk about when Nathan Drake touches the wall when you get too close.
Yeah.
Like those little things mean so much.
Yeah. And I know clothing is very hard to animate like that, like fluidly.
Think about how hard it is to draw.
Yeah.
Now think about doing that in a 3D model and then
Yeah.
animating it, you know? That's
Yeah.
like amazing.
But I also saw something apparently like there's a part where Ellie is playing with rope and it animates and interacts with the world realistically.
Oh, there's it's pretty early in the game. You have
Yeah.
an extension cord and you have to move it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like freaking real life. The
Yeah.
physics are incredible.
But the game has gays in it, so 0 out of 10.
Yeah, 0 out of 10. Now we talk to you people.
Yes, as always, you can reach us on Twitter using the hashtag Wulff Den Live. If you left a comment on last week's Wulff Den Live, this is the part of the show where we will finally answer you. And of course, ladies and gentlemen watching us at home, please start leaving your questions and comments as we will get to them when we are done with everybody else.
Hashtag Wulff Den Live on Twitter. Try the spaghetti says, do you think that Metroid Prime 4 will actually be good? I hope that it is the best and last game in the Metroid series and that they end on a high note rather than dragging the series along. Then they can focus on new creative IPs. Thoughts? I think he means the last game in the Prime series.
It sounded like even the last Metroid game, period.
That's what it sounded like, but I think he means Prime.
Well, let's answer this question by question. Do I think it'll be actually good? Yes, because Nintendo is not the type of company. If they're gonna stop developing a game to restart it from the beginning, they know it's because something wasn't working, and they're gonna try again to make it actually work until it's good. So I think that the game is in good hands and will come out being fun.
I'll be super shocked if it's not good.
Yeah. In terms of it being like the last in the series so that they can focus on creating new IP, I mean, Metroid is the type of game that will go dormant for years so that they can focus on like new games and other things and then only bring it back when they have like a good game to present, because there's like 7 years between Super Metroid and Metroid Prime. There was no Metroid game on the Nintendo 64.
I think it would be interesting if they just... I think a definitive end would be really cool. To the Prime series specifically. I get that, like, we're, like, so that there's no wait anymore. Like, we know that it's over.
Yeah.
I think that'd be nice. And then they could work on making new Metroid games.
Mm-hmm.
Q73 Power, using the hashtag, said, going between the Lite and OG is easy and fast for me. Even if I'm just going to a different room, I'll switch. I just wish the cloud saves auto-download. At least they automatically upload, which is more important. Yes, it requires you to be more active. My problem is I switch to my Lite, or I used to switch to my Switch Lite if I was going to leave the house, and a lot of times I'm in a hurry. And then I'll have the Switch Lite with me, and maybe I'll decide I want to play a different game that's not the game I'm currently playing that I know that I'll make sure that I have a save file for a game. And then maybe I'll be like, oh, let's try Mega Man X. Wait, which save file is this? Am I going to be corrupting my old save file? Am I going to save over my old save file? I don't know. So that's what turns it off for me. John and Game Journey says, hello, Wolf Bros, aka Q Boys. I think AJ has a point on the all digital PS5 being significantly cheaper. It locks those customers into using the PlayStation Store for all of their game purchases. P.S. Love the channel.
Yeah, it does, but at the same time, I feel like they wouldn't want to cannibalize the sales of the version with the disc drive in it, though.
So, looking at the Xbox SAD, the one without the disc drive, that's cheaper because you save money on not having the hard drive.
It is cheaper, but it's only $50 cheaper.
Right. But
so
I think that it could be cheaper because it doesn't have the CD drive.
Right.
Not like an insane amount cheaper.
Yeah.
Just like a little bit cheaper.
I don't think it's, at most it will be $100 cheaper.
However,
I don't see that happening. Yeah.
I see it having a bigger hard drive and being the same price.
Right.
I see that as also an option.
But at the same time, they've never said that. All they've ever said was that it's going to ship with a 1 terabyte hard drive.
Right.
Well, SSD or whatever you want to call
Right.
it. But they've never said that the all digital version is going to have a bigger hard drive to compensate.
Right. They also never
but
said we were going to have an all digital version.
that's true too. But if they do make the all digital version have more storage, then that would necessitate them having to sell it for the same price.
Right.
Which is a really weird decision.
Right.
Overall.
Correct. Although, I mean, maybe they only did it because they know that the PS5 is going to be expensive. Yeah. And they wanted to cut a cost somewhere.
Yeah.
So they made a cheap version, maybe. Maybe that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Forte says, Bob, from one drummer to another, do you miss playing? Also, what was your favorite song to play? I very rarely miss playing the drums. Sometimes I'll listen to something or I'll watch a live set and I'll be like, I miss playing the drums. But the worst part about playing the drums was lugging your crap everywhere, getting all hot and sweaty, and playing shows to 0 people. Like lugging everything somewhere, playing for nobody, and then lugging it back. So no, I don't really miss that. What was your favorite song to play? I don't really have a favorite song to play. I liked playing my own songs that I wrote with my band. Those were nice.
There you go.
Katie Mitchell, have y'all seen / played the Minecraft Nether update yet? It's fun. Call me hand.
That's another popular ass video game series that everyone has played except me.
Minecraft? You've never played Minecraft?
I've probably walked around the game world in create mode once, and it's just yeah, this is not for me.
I went to the Nether 2 times my whole life, so I have not touched the new update. But maybe there'll be a Cute Boy stream. You should tweet at twitter.com/ Where is he? Oh my god, he's not in my DMs. What's going on? It's been so long. Madry Bread. Go to this guy. Go to this guy and say, I want a Cute Boys Minecraft stream. Okay? And then maybe I'll get to play Minecraft. Anyway, now we're on last week's in the comments.
Yes.
Last week's video, podcast in the comments. Leftover Waddlin says, loved the lineup. Good.
Yeah.
Kingler17 says, just walk around Sword and Shield hitting the capture button. Pokemon Snap. Jeffrey Harrison says, I can't remember ever disliking an episode this much. I felt more like a private conversation. It felt more like a private conversation amongst the 4 of them rather than something aimed at an audience. And then Straight Blazin says, hate these 2 guests. Couldn't listen for more than 15 minutes.
Well, too bad, because we might have him on again.
Yeah, don't listen to the one with guests then.
Yeah.
It's always 1 or 2 ways. Either people go, I love it when you have guests on, or never have guests on. We gotta have guests on. We gotta.
It's just, variety is the spice of life, as they say.
Gotta do it. It's gotta happen. So too bad. Riniazia says, Bob's shirt is so cute. What was I wearing?
I have no idea. It must have been cute, though.
I mean, of course, Will. Of course it was cute. I wanted to say something about... I don't know what I want to say anything about. Anyway, the next one, Gravity Blast, says, if you question Pokemon Snap as a game, then Animal Crossing is even less of a game. No. You control Animal Crossing.
Yeah. I mean, they're both games. It's just that they're not traditional games. They're not the big action-packed games that most people think of when they think of video games.
You just have way more control over Animal Crossing than you do in Pokemon Snap. Pokemon Snap is like a point and click. Oh my! Yeah. I was wearing the Fogs shirt.
Oh,
with a giant fog on it.
Yeah,
that's what it was. Oh, what I want to say was I feel like every friggin' podcast we do is just a conversation between the two of us with chat integrated. I just wasn't paying much attention to the chat because we had a lot of people on. There was a lot going on. What I got to be better at is when we have guests on, I got to have less topics because there's more people that are going to talk. So it takes more time to get through all of the topics. That's something that I need to work on. Austin. Oh, now we're in the chat.
Yes.
That was everything. Austin Hammonds says Pokemon Snap is an on-rails shooter. That is a game.
He's not wrong.
It's an on-rails point-and-click adventure. It's like Myst.
Well, I think like Pokemon Snap does have objectives to do and a score that you can like keep trying to beat and get better and better at. You know, there's a game element to it. It's just not as dense of a game as like the mainline Pokemon series is or other types of games.
Barely a game. Still running that narrative. Milkshank Jones with $4.20. Hell yeah, baby. Slept through all 4 alarms I set to wake up before 6. Well, life's a toilet, ain't it?
Yeah, maybe stop 420ing all night long.
Yeah. It's your fault.
Yeah.
$5 from the Yeeter. Bro, just start playing something. This is like playing Minecraft on Wii U. There is nothing new. What are you talking about? You talking about the podcast? This is what we do here. We're doing it for 233 episodes.
Yeah.
I don't know what you want from my life. AJ says shooters are glorified point and clicks. Changed my mind.
He's not wrong.
Not wrong.
He's not wrong. I flew. Sony owns Spider-Man, so I'm confident it won't be in Square Enix's game. Not necessarily, because Spider-Man is in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, and that was made by Nintendo. Spider-Man was also in the last Marvel vs. Capcom game, and that was made by Capcom. In terms of gameplay rights, I think Sony just has it for like Spider-Man solo games. It looks like he can appear in like Marvel Universe games, like games that feature like other Marvel characters. Sony owns the movie rights though, and that's a whole other can of worms.
It's just whether or not, if they put Spider-Man in it, will it be the Spider-Man from the Insomniac game, or will it be like a Square Enix version of Spider-Man?
It'll probably be a Square Enix version of Spider-Man. Yuri Lowenthal, who did the voice in the PS4 game, did the voice of Spider-Man in Ultimate Alliance.
Oh.
So they could do something like that. But he'd have to look different. He'd probably have to act different. You know, it won't be the same Spider-Man, but you know, they could still use Spider-Man.
But that's the question that everybody has: is are they going to somehow integrate Avengers with the Spider-Man game?
Right.
Is there going to be a crossover? And it's possible that Spider-Man's in it and there's no crossover.
Yeah.
But it's also possible Spider-Man's in it and there's like a little bit of a crossover. I think the dog is like seeing something on the ground and trying to attack it. I don't know. What's your problem, dude? He's like on a hunt. There was something else I wanted to read in this. Oh, Sin411 says, was outside of Target the other week wearing a Wulff Den hoodie, and some random guy walked by and started yelling, "Tweet of the week, tweet of the week, tweet of the week." That's not true. I do not believe you for a second.
I choose to believe that happened, and that is it. We have made it. We are international superstars now.
Hyas with $5 says, insert overused PS5 router joke here.
We've already established this. It looks like Arctic Blast Batman from the 1992 Batman Returns toy line from Kenner.
I will reserve my judgment until it is in my house. So I have my consoles here. My Xbox and my PS4 are in a horrible spot. They're just shoved up against the wall on my desk. I have no idea where this PS5 is going to go.
Yeah. I have room for it, but I would have to build more shelving for it.
I think I have to build shelves.
Yeah.
Or I could put it behind my monitor.
We could do that.
How heavy is this thing going to be? I can't friggin' drill into my walls.
It's probably going to be massive. I'm debating whether or not to bring my PS4 upstairs to play video games because I feel like if I was up here, I'd play it more. But
I love having my stuff at my desk.
I liked having like a dedicated gaming area in the basement where I can just go and play my video games away from my wife and all that stuff. But now that I have a child that needs my constant attention, you know, it's the Switch is just there. I pick it up and I play for 2 minutes and then she cries and I got to put it down. I got to, you know, rock her ass to sleep. But I discovered she likes the bouncing souls and that makes me so happy.
You don't know that. It's a baby.
She does. No, she does. Because we were playing along. We were dancing. She was laughing the whole time. She likes the bouncing souls. Do not take this away from me.
Baby doesn't
Do not take this away from me.
Baby doesn't know any better. Sin401 says, I'm not lying, Bob. I'm dead serious. I don't believe you. Nobody's ever yelled that to me when I'm wearing my Wulff Den hoodie. Tony Wood 25 with $5. Do you know a lot of people with a Nintendo Switch buyer's remorse? Could my quick boredom exist because I'm playing Mario Kart offline? Suggestions? I don't know many people at all.
Yeah, nobody I know who bought a Switch regrets it. It could just be because you're playing one game.
There's a lot of games right now. If you just bought the Switch, you got to dig into that back catalog and play.
Yeah, that's the thing. The Switch is more than just like one game. The Switch literally has like thousands and thousands of games.
3.
And you know, they run the gamut from like, you know, shovelware to, you know, absolute masterpieces, but there's a lot of like hidden gems in there that are worth checking out.
There's not a lot coming out right now.
Right.
But there are a lot of amazing games there that you got to check out. There's another one I wanted to read here. Oh, Kool-Aid Kid said, oh no, Kool-Aid 3 says, I purchased an RK 2020 because of your Wulff Den Live episode where you initially opened it. That, I don't know why you did that. Because I don't think I liked it when I opened it. I ordered it that night, 3 weeks. How long did it take you for yours to arrive? It took like a month. It takes a long time because it's coming like right from China.
Yeah.
And it comes in what looks like a cocaine brick. So expect it to take a while. And I hope you enjoy it. And I hope you watch my video so you know what you're expecting. John Enquist says, my friend just walked past and asked if I was watching a stoner podcast. Time for Dollar Shave Club. They're not sponsored until July, so you got some time with his beard, buddy.
Apparently my day job said that they're looking to come back to the office in July, so perfect timing.
Perfect timing for you to start to braid it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys for hanging out.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for chatting with us. As always, Wulff Den Live is every single Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern right here on youtube.com/WulffDen. If you can't make the show for any reason at all, we always put it up as an archive version on Thursday for you to watch on demand whenever you want. If you prefer to listen to us rather than watch us, you can do that as well. We're also an audio podcast on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Play, and Stitcher. And if you listen to us on any of those platforms, please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review us because that helps us with placement on those respective stores. Also, if you want to watch just a little bit of Wulff Den Live, or maybe you want to send a specific set of the show to your buddies, there's an echo in my headphones. Head on over and subscribe to Wulff Den Clips, where our good friend Eric Henry takes this week's episode and cuts it down to bite-sized chunks for your viewing pleasure.
Jump up. Trying to get the dog to jump in my lap and he knocked my headphones out.
Hey. Real quick, Hytham G with $10. The reason I am having safe bets on Monster Hunter because of Rathalos, who is an assist trophy plus a boss, and Min Min was a spirit in a form of Corin and orange alt that blends with the character. All right, it evolved out of English at a certain point.
Because Rathalos, I think, is an enemy in Monster Hunter. That is an assist trophy.
Okay.
Plus a boss, and Min Min was was it an assist trophy or a level boss? I don't remember. Why are you biting so much? What's your friggin' problem? And Min Min was a spirit in a form of Corin. Okay, I don't know. Anybody could be a character.
Yeah.
Depends on popularity. Depends on what Nintendo wants, because it's really Nintendo is the ones calling the shots.
Rathalos was a boss and a assist trophy.
There you go. But Rathalos isn't going to be a character. It's going to be a monster hunter if it's anybody.
Yeah.
Thank you all for being here. Go to twitch.tv/Wulff Den. Twitch.tv/Wulff Den. Turn the notifications on so you know when I go live. I'll probably be on tomorrow. Who knows what I'm going to play? I think Animal Crossing, because I'm still building my city. Thank you for being here. We will see you later. Goodbye.
Bye.